So welcome to a Merchant of Magic chat. Today we're chatting with none other than creator of Magma, Kyle Marlett. Say hello, Kyle.
What's up, guys? How are you doing?
So if you haven't seen any of the videos, we'll put a link in and sort this all out for you. But Magma is a super cool, or should I say super hot new product that allows you to give a real visual element of heat emanating from your hand. I think actually, Kyle, can you show them what it looks like right now?
Yeah, so you can show your hands. And then bright, and then it will cool off. Nice and cool, and then you can show your hands again. There you go.
Nice. It's really nice. So that essentially is Magma, but it's not just for that. This is like a utility to.
Yeah, I mean the possibilities are endless of what you could do this with. It really is a utility item, not an effect. On the download that you get, I teach a few effects in like a melting straw and a bending coin routine and whatnot. But really, this is meant to use for your pre-existing magic that you already have. Because the reason I created Magma, I originally created it for a TV show. We didn't end up using it. The original idea, I will just throw it out there in case anybody wants to do it. So the idea for the TV show is that he was going to, I don't know how anybody would do this, but he was going to escape out of like a jail cell type of environment. So the idea is that he would have one in each hand and grab the bars and pull them apart like a superhero Iron Man like strength. So the original prototype I built was obviously much different than what they receive now because I didn't have that type of advanced technology to do this. But that was the idea. Then over the 3-4 years after that, I continued working on it, keep building more prototypes. I went to Murphy's. We went back and forth with prototypes for ever. I mean, we could have released this a year and a half ago, but it wasn't perfect and it wasn't good enough. And like at first it was going to be like a battery that you had to replace, and I didn't want that. And then it wasn't bright enough, and then we actually went through different color of lights to see which ones were brighter. And the idea of the prototype going back and forth was nuts. And just, I'm sure most magicians will watch the video or watch what I just did and understand what the gimmick is. But correct me if I'm wrong, like, because you have one, you know what it is. This is, even the gimmick, the thing that houses all of the fancy stuff, is unlike anything that's ever been done with this gimmick. And I don't want to reveal too much, but if you know what it is, if you know what I'm using, what's really great about Magma is with the old gimmick, you could never make a fist. You could actually never close your hand because it was hard plastic. Well, this isn't hard plastic. The other thing is you can never open your hand flat. You could never show your hands flat because it would just fall right off your hand because there was no way to grip it. With Magma, there is. And also what's nice is that this is customizable to hand sizes. So if you have small hands or if you're a female magician, you can actually customize this to fit your hands better. Or if you have fat, big sausage fingers like myself, it works perfectly fine as this. And like the detail, and this is, yet again, I'm just talking about the actual housing of everything. The detail is way better than other body parts that are on the market. Because there's way more detail on the lines of your hands and the fingers and things like that, which was never done before either. So just all of that, so this, saying that is very good, and I've been very fortunate to show very famous magicians in the magic community who are well-known sleight of hand guys, card guys, coin guys, and they just love that part of it on top of the idea of Magma. And then the electronics took forever to do because I believe you were going to mention this, but it's all USB rechargeable. You just plug it right into your computer or even your car if you're traveling between gigs, which is really nice. I mentioned this in the video that I did, but in case people didn't watch it, what's really great is that there's even this is how much thought went into this and how much work went into this, because there's even indicator lights that are outside of the lights via the magnet, so via magma. So there's an indicator light. So for example, if you bring this out and you go to perform it, there's an indicator that only the magician can see that will indicate when your battery is starting to go dead. And what's so great about that is I never wanted a magician to come out and do this epic thing and set this thing up and all of a sudden it not work because the battery is dead. So that indicator indicates that you have like 5 to 10 more performances before you need to recharge, which I think is really good. And I specifically did that because I didn't want anybody to look like a fool when they come out and not work. And then there's another indicator light of charging. So when you plug it in, it will blink when it's charging, and when it's stopped, it's fully charged. And it takes about 30 minutes to charge, probably less, to be honest. But about that, and you get 100 performances, 100 squeezes out of every battery. So that's just yet again how much work we went into. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Do you have any other? I'm trying to think. Is there anything I'm missing?
I think, you've covered most of the main points that I was going to mention. It is a real shame that you can't just show everyone what it is, because I've seen electronic gimmicks before that have done great things, but they kind of feel like they might fall apart or something like this. This is really neat. It's really compact. It's really well presented, and all the thought that's gone into it. It's a shame that you can't sell that. As well as the effect.
I'm very proud of it. I mean, I've created a lot of magic for TV shows and whatnot, and for myself, and I've released a lot of magic. But this is probably the thing I'm most proud of. I really. I've said this a couple of times. I don't like to use the word perfect because I'm sure there's some magician somewhere in the world who will find something that was wrong with it. But I really believe this is as close as possible to perfection that we could have gotten. And, just a couple things. So I know a couple magicians have mentioned well, it's just an LED light. It's not. It's not an LED light. This is actually 15 times brighter than an LED light, 16 times brighter than an LED light. So for example, right now, I performed it just a second ago. I have a giant sliding glass door over here. I have a giant window over there.
Off of your head from the light. So.
Right. So, but yet you can still see it. So it works just like it's science. It's science. It works just like anything. So if you bring out the flashlight, or I think torch is how you guys say it. If you bring out the flashlight on your phone outside, you're not going to see it because it's bright, right? You don't need a flashlight. But with this, you will still be able to see it. It will still be shown in your hand. And it's not going to be nearly as bright, but you're still going to see it. But then if you go indoors, like right now, even though it's super bright in here, you see it. If I was to go into my living room, which has less windows in it, it would be brighter. And then if I do this at a restaurant bar, it's going to be brighter. If I do this at night, it's going to get even brighter. So it works just like light does, what else is there? I don't know.
It's great that you can use the original gimmick that you've redesigned without saying any names or anything. You can use it as that as well. So
yeah, that's what's really great about it, is that you can show your hand, place a coin into your hand very cleanly.
A flat coin.
A flat coin. Do magma. And now show your hands empty with the subtleties that we talk about, and classic subtleties that you probably already know. And then you could either just vanish it. You could, at that point, do magma again and make it appear almost like your hand's like a portal of some sort, maybe. Or you could now, for example, that was a signed coin, for example, or a signed bill. You could do anything. So if you folded up had someone sign a bill, put it in your hand, it's gone using magma, right? And you don't even have to actually trigger the lighting, of course, but you could, right? So it's gone. Now, what's great about that is then when you drop your hands on your side, you can retrieve the bill and now load it into a lemon or load it into your wallet or whatever, wherever you're going with this effect. So there's a lot of effects you can do just with the gimmick without triggering it. There's a lot of effects you can do with triggering it, or you could just perform it as is, as a cool thing. And there's a lot of cool things I discussed. Like there's a thing where you can show both your hands, cup your hands, and you put your hands like this, for example, right? And what happens, it looks as though like you're holding this orb of light, and it's using the gimmick in another way that's not just how you think you're using it. It's basically using a classic move that you would with this gimmick, and now it's even brighter, which I know that's very vague, but you know what I'm talking about. So there's a lot of cool applications with it. And especially if you were to get 2 of them, like it's really good. Another question that I saw recently on the cafe is like ending clean or ditching. So it works, I would say that, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, I would say that this ends just as clean as if you were using a thumb tip, right? So people, the question was, the moment after you do it, people are going to want to examine your hands. And I would follow that up with, well, the moment you vanish a bill with a thumb tip, people want to examine your hands, right?
And they do.
And they do.
In their mind, anyway.
So similar to this, yeah, there's going to be heat on your hand, but there are plenty of displays and plenty of subtleties that you can show your hand completely empty, just as much as a thumb tip. But also, I talk about different ways to ditch it mid-performance, and that's without going to your pocket. So without going to your pocket, you can ditch it in certain ways where you can show your hands in different ways. And I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I cover that all on the thing. But even Dominic had a great suggestion, which was like, you have a hot coin, so you get like tweezers to hand it to them because now you've bent the coin and now you've ditched it in your pocket. So there's plenty of ways to ditch it in your pocket or in other ways that I teach on the thing. So
yeah, I think what I liked as well on the tutorial is that you talk about the subtleties. So like it might be just picking a pen up and putting that in your pocket, and in that instance you're showing your hands empty and getting rid of the gimmick or bringing it in or whatever you like.
No, I mean, it just makes sense to hold a pen like so and put it away, and that looks uber clean. And that's the same way you would display your hands if you were to do like a classic retention vanish? I don't know.
Ramsey subtlety.
Yeah. And guys do that. Classic guys do that with cylinder and coin routines and other coin routines and things like that. Basically, you have to almost pretend that you're hiding a coin in your hand, but without hiding a coin in a way. So
I mean, we're all magicians. I mean, that's part of being a magician is fooling someone, and learning small little subtleties like that are genuinely the things that really fool people. So
well, and also what's nice is, okay, so like right now I have the gimmick in my hand. What's cool about this version of this gimmick that you cannot do with other versions of this is, so let's say, and I teach this on the download. So let's say I show a coin, I borrow a coin, I put it in my hand, I then squeeze, I do magma, and now what's cool is when I want to open up my hand to show that the coin's bent, I don't have to go here and take it out of my hand. What's really great about this gimmick is I can do it and just open up my hand and let it drop. And which the old gimmick, you can never do this. You can never show your hand flat like this. So what's great about that is the moment you do that and drop it, this indicates to people that your hand is empty because your hand's completely flat. But then after you get in this position of like coming back, like the coin's there, now you can go into the more classic subtleties and showing your hands empty. So this is a nice little thing that you can do that you couldn't do with previous versions.
Yeah, yeah. I love just the glasses reposition and stuff like that. It's
Yeah,
just,
and I know someone's comment was like, "Oh, you must have to wear glasses." It just makes total sense for me to do it that way. And I do have glasses, and whatnot. But on the tutorial, I teach many other versions of displays and showing your hands empty and ditching the gimmicks and stuff. So
yeah, I mean, it's easy enough when you've done the coin bend. You don't even have to like lift it up like this. If you just wanted to toss it over out of your hand,
yeah,
and then you get a nice look, you know.
And also, what's really nice is about, you know, I know some people don't like the new age online streaming instructions or downloadable instructions, but I prefer that because, for example, the entire month of September, I'm touring. I'm like doing a lecture tour in the UK, and along that way, every time I jam with magicians, you know, you come up with new ideas. And so every time I lecture, I'm sure I'm going to come up with something. And along the way, I can film more videos and upload them to the instructions. So therefore, you know, we're constantly getting, you know, good ideas. And I know other people have like started Facebook groups for gimmicks and things so everybody can jam and stuff. So I prefer the online streaming link because then we can always add more and, you know, continue giving to people who, you know, use Magma.
I think the fact is that's the way the world's going anyway. You know, DVDs are almost a dead media.
Well, I got a DVD the other day, and I was not home, and I had no way to play it. My computer doesn't have a DVD slot. Like I had to go out and buy a portable DVD USB player just to play the DVD, and I'm perfectly fine with that. So
first world problems.
Right.
So, actually, I've got a couple of questions for you about Magma. So, what's your personal favorite presentation for Magma? What's your favorite thing to sort of do with it? Is it?
I think the lighter effect.
Yeah.
So I do it all the time, and what's really nice is you can actually do it. So I did it on stage. Are you familiar with the classic joke where you pull the flame up off the like a big lighter?
Oh yeah, and you flick it.
So what's nice about that is a well-known magician friend of mine. He does that joke all the time, and what's nice is you do it as a joke the first time, right? But the second time you do it via Magma. You're here. Now you have a flame in your hand. And then you pretend to toss it and come back. So this adds so much to that. It makes it from a joke into an effect. But what's nice, I like setting it up as a joke so they don't expect that coming, of course. And then you do it again, you know. And that's, to me, I do it constantly. I do it all the time.
It's like, that's just magic. It's just pure magic. It's not a trick. It's not sleight of hand. It's not anything. It's just magic.
Sure. Yeah.
So what do you find the reactions are like when you perform Magma?
Awesome. I mean, everybody wants to be Iron Man, you know, and that's why I originally created it, is because, I mean, I'm a big nerd. I have nerd tattooed on my arm. Like, I'm a massive nerd, and I have a stack of comic books to my left. You know, I wanted to create an effect that, to me, gives you the capability or the illusion that you have super mutant powers. And to me, this is the closest thing possible that really looks like that. So when I do that, especially like in a restaurant or a bar or a social area, no one expects it to be coming, you know. And, you know, the other day I had it in my hand for 45 minutes talking to someone, holding like a champagne glass, because it's a perfect subtlety, and I'm just holding it, and she did not expect it to be happening, of course. And then I forget what effect I did, but I just did something, and it blew away, because obviously I've been holding on to it forever. My sleeves were rolled up. I had no sleeves, and all of a sudden my hand's turning into an inferno. Like, it freaked her out. So I find the reactions really, really good, and people love it. So
do you have any advice for like people that, because there's quite a few tricks that are a bit like superpowers, like electric touch or to the max or something like this. Now, obviously Magma. Do you have any advice to people on how to present magic like a superpower? Do you find it's different to when you do a card trick and you have all the gags, like, you know,
yeah, I teach a card change on there, and it's not my favorite. I personally think this is stronger as enhancement to like a metal bending or something, or melting or something. For me, it's all about the emphasis on the magic. And I was just working on a project, and the guy had an incredible trick, like amazing trick, but he was like, here's a coin, I'm gonna put it here, boom, magic, here you go. And the reactions we got from this incredible trick, which should have been amazing reactions, were flatline. Like, they were no reactions. And for me, what makes a trick like Magma, for sure, so strong is you emphasize on the magic. So one thing I do a lot is I show my hands empty, and then I like gather, like I'm like almost gathering this energy, and then I go into it. And even that little motion really enhances the idea that you're like a superhero almost, because like you're like doing something impossible. And the other thing, which is nice, is because the light is under your control, the magician, you don't have to do it at first. So you could come here, focus, nothing happens, and you just like, and then you shake it off, and then you come back again, and then you do it. And just so emphasizing the magic and focusing on the magic, and in this sounds super cheesy, but believing that you could actually do this and then doing it is what's gonna make it work. At least for me, you know. So for example, back to that project, which was not Magma, but once I explained this to the guy, and then he did that way, the reactions were huge. It's because he was just doing an incredible trick, but throwing it off like it was just a gimmick trick, which it is, but he didn't believe that he was doing. And I'm not getting like super hippie, you know, on anybody, like you have to believe you're a real magician or anything, but like just, you have to do the same actions you would if you were a real magician.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think that's good advice, actually, really good advice, because otherwise it just comes across as a bit fake. And
that just works. That's for any magic, really. So
yeah. Okay. Just have you got anything else in store in the future? You got anything else up your sleeve, your covert sleeve?
Not a lot. I have another effect coming out in a few months, probably 4 or 5 months from now. But I'm just touring a lot. Like I said, I'm doing a whole month in UK. It's like 30 dates in the UK all month of September. And I'm really excited. I've never lectured in the UK. I've been to the UK many times, but I've never lectured. So I'm doing London and Blackpool and Nottingham and the Spoke and Mirrors bar, and I'm doing Glasgow as well, and it's 30 dates. I don't remember them all, but there's I'm doing the IBM convention there. Not sure where that's at. Yeah, so I haven't posted anything about this. You guys are actually the first people who know. But I'm posting the dates and the locations the next like couple days. So if you just follow me on Instagram or Facebook or whatever you're saying.
Yeah. What is your Instagram account? What's your Facebook?
All my social medias is my full name. So just if you Google my full name, everything will come up. So.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. That's great. That's good. Just one more question, because we argue about this almost daily. Captain America: Civil War or X-Men: Apocalypse?
Civil War. Yeah, it's unfortunate because I'm a massive X-Men fan, and I think it was great. I think it was great. I don't think it was a bad movie in any form. It just felt a little rushed, and there's a few things that I didn't like about it. But also, I'm a pretty tough movie critic as well. But Civil War, I mean, Marvel is just doing it right. This is what they're doing. They're getting a little too much, and we could talk about this for another. This could be a whole other hangout. But their crossovers are getting a little much for me, because like if I brought someone to the movie who's seen the previous ones but don't know anything about any other superhero movie, or for example haven't seen the Avengers but have seen all the other Iron Mans, and then but you know, so like the crossover is really great for people like hard fans who have seen all the movies, who watch you know, because even like Shield TV show has crossovers from what's going on in the thing. So it's like it's getting a little much, because I like, if you didn't know what's happened in the previous like Thor movie, but that affects what's going on in the Captain America movie, like the world, I know it's one world, but it's getting too much, and people are getting confused on who's who, and why is this guy here? Why Spider-Man? And I don't like, why was he here? Like, so it's, the crossover is a little much, but they're great movies. Marvel knows what they're doing. So
that's good. Mark, that was a vote for Civil War, mate. Gutted. So yeah, no, we argue about that almost daily, but thank you for clearing that up. You are now the definitive ruler of this this argument. So, all right, well, I'd just like to thank you very much, because I know it's very early where you are. You had a busy time shooting yesterday, so thank you for taking the time out. Everybody, this has been Kyle Marlett, creator of Magma. Hope you've enjoyed this. Say goodbye, Kyle.
Later, guys. See you soon.
All right, okay, thanks again, Kyle. So this has been for the Merchant of Magic vlog. I've been Ben Williams, and have a good day.